Hello everyone, Colin Cumesty here with the Knox County Fire Bureau. On today's installment of Go See It, we're here at the Mayo Garden Center in West Knoxville. We're going to go on inside and speak to Fogarty, the shop foreman, and he's going to teach us all about lawnmower safety. So come on inside and see what we can learn.
First, we'd like to welcome you to Mayo Garden Center. I'd like to cover a little bit of the safety features on a mower, proper procedures to start mowing your lawn. First thing is personal safety. Eyeglasses are a must. Hearing aid is a must. Proper shoe protection is necessary. The mowers have a tendency, the blade spinning around, it's going to throw debris, if it catches any, out at a shoe level, at a foot level. So you want to protect yourself that way. Second of all, the important thing is make sure the mower is ready to mow. Fill your fuel tank full on each time you start. You don't want to fuel a hot engine that just vaporizes the gas more. Turn on the fuel shutoff valve. Make sure that your spark plug is connected and you have proper oil level in the mower. And at that point, the mower should be ready to run. Before you start out in the yard, you want to make sure there's no debris in the yard that you're going to run over and cause a problem that way. So that's the things to start mowing. When you're finished mowing, you should clean the mower, get all the debris off the top of the mower so it doesn't dry out and cause a problem. At that time, you want to shut off your fuel so that you don't have any fuel leaking wherever you store the machine. You also want to be careful where you store the machine, that you don't have mice and things like that want to get up in the mower and cause you damage that way. As far as sharpening the blades, maintaining the mower, Honda says every 100 hours to change the mower oil, which is basically once a year on your oil. You want to maintain fresh fuel. You don't want to let your fuel sit more than 30 days and use that in your mower. When you do go to sharpen the blades, professional guys sharpen their blades every 25 hours, which should be 2 or 3 times a year to maintain a real nice cut. We like to see the mowers tipped on the side towards the oil, not to the gas tank side. And then we like to have the spark plug wire pulled so that when you're under there, the mower doesn't kick and hurt your fingers and things that way. So we just like to tip the mower up, and you can tip it right over, and that exposes the blades. There are 2 bolts that come off and the blades drop down, and then we sharpen them, put them back on. The torque is 65 pounds to torque those bolts back on so they don't come back off on you. And once that's done, you're ready to go that way. And like I say, when you put it away when you're done mowing and you put it away, you need to shut off the gas, clean the debris from on top of the mower, hopefully underneath the mower also, so nothing dries out, causes you a problem that way. That's the main procedure for cutting. The other thing is a safety feature. Every mower has an operator presence. If you were to stop, let go of the presence, the mower will stop, or the motor will shut off, and you have to restart it. That's a safety feature, so if you trip or something happens, the mower will stop and you won't get hurt that way. The other thing that's a very touchy subject is on slopes. A lot of people try to cut on a slope with a push mower. The best way to cut is parallel with the slope. Cutting up and down causes a concern. The mower is either you're gonna slip, or the mower's gonna fall back on you. So if you could cut it on a parallel, if it's too steep to cut, then you have to go with a string trimmer and cut it that way. So that's pretty much on a push mower, that's what's needed to be done. So when we look at the riding tractors, again, there's a safety switches. There's a seat switch. If you come off the seat, it'll shut the machine down. You follow the same procedures for fueling and checking the oil. The fuel tank is on the side. We want to fuel it again while it's cold. Every 100-hour oil change on the engine. Air filters are changed as needed. If you're in the middle of the summer, August, September, when it's dry and dusty, we like to change the air filters more often. The worst thing you can do is get dirt inside your engine, and that'll wear it out and such. But it has a safety switch again on the seat. If you come off the seat, or if you try to back up with the blades on and you don't turn on the safety switch, the mower will shut off at that point. One of the things about a riding tractor that we see a lot is proper tire pressure. If you have a weak or low tire, it throws the machine into cut off, but it also makes it unsafe on slopes or any slope at all that way. Sharpening the blades on these are a little bit different. We lift the machine from the front and we use a socket. There's usually 2 blades under here. We take them off and sharpen them that way. Other than that, that's all the real maintenance that you have to do on these.
Hello everyone, Colin again. We've managed to find ourselves some grass out here in West Knoxville following our visit over at Mayo's with Rick. We want to make sure that we touch on and reinforce a few topics from the earlier video to make sure everyone's doing the best they can to be safe when they mow their yard. The first of which, we're going to talk about your safety gear. Before you wind up going out to the mow, make sure that you're doing a couple of things to protect yourself. The first of which is closed-toed shoes. Make sure you're not using sandals or flip-flops or anything else other than a nice pair of closed-toed shoes. The next would be pants. Lawn pants is always the best suggestion. If you have a yard like mine with a bit of poison ivy in it, you really don't want your lawnmower spraying that all over your legs coming into the summer season. So lawn pants is always a good idea. Protecting our hands. Having a nice pair of work gloves, especially any job that we do in the yard, always great to have right at the fingertips. Another wonderful protective device, if you wear glasses that are rated for contact from projectiles, that's wonderful. But if you don't, having a nice pair of safety glasses to protect your eyes in case things might become projectiles from your mowing is an excellent way to protect yourself. Hearing protection. Having hearing protection is a valuable thing. Our ears and these mowers getting really loud over an entire day could be really painful. Having something as simple as just some foam earplugs will go a long way to keep your hearing healthy. And the last thing, for those of us that happen to be a little bit of sun phobic, lots of sunscreen perhaps, and even a ball cap to wear where you're outside working in the yard is always a good idea. The next thing we want to talk about, and Mr. Fogarty mentioned this earlier, is before you go to mow your yard, make sure you look for things like twigs, sticks, rocks, even an occasional pipe, maybe from your underground sprinkler system that's been exposed. All these things become potential dangers to your mower and then possibly even projectiles that can hurt you, especially if you're in a walk behind or a push behind type mower. So always take a second to look through your yard, clear up those projectiles, and get them out of the way. The next thing we want to talk about is using our mower for that very first time. As Mr. Fogarty explained earlier, make sure that you're reading your entire owner's manual from cover to cover. Know exactly the service schedule, know how to do the preventative maintenance on your own, and what maintenance the manufacturer recommends be done by a vendor. When we go to use our mower for the first time, make sure that your oil is all the way up where it needs to be. Make sure that you're fueling every time before you use your mower. And make sure when you do fuel it that the motor is cold. Never ever should we fill fuel into a lawnmower that the motor is either running or has been running and is still hot. And when you go to fuel, make sure that you're doing it outside of your garage in a well-ventilated environment. This makes sure that the vapors don't become a danger. And lastly, things like the safety equipment that Mr. Fogarty talked about earlier. These things, the operator safety, make sure that these are in good working condition. Turn on your mower, make sure they're operating right. This is designed to protect you in a slip and a fall where you might release the handle and then the motor should shut off on your lawnmower. And lastly, before you get out into the grass, when you're going to mow, mowing on a flat level surface is a wonderful thing. But when you find yourself facing a hill like the one that we have behind us, remember, parallel lines is what protects you from slips and falls. Going up and down, you run the risk of slipping either behind your mower or having your mower come up behind you and then putting yourself at risk of a dangerous injury. We don't want anybody to be injured while mowing their yard. We hope you enjoyed today's Go See It. We look forward to seeing you on our next trip out into the world. And please remember to share, subscribe, and like our content here on YouTube with your family and friends. We'll see you next time.